Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Tony Davis, as you know by now, and I'm here with my post-impact video slash TNA news stuff. So I guess we'll start with we'll get right into it. TNA, as you know, as some of you probably know by now, has signed Brooke Hogan. Good Lord, help us all. And she is going to be in charge of the Knockouts division. I don't know what the hell Dixie Carter is fucking thinking here, bringing her in, because it's just like, you know, it's like, okay, she, you know, it's like, first, you know, and, first, I mean, you know, she's better than all these idiots from WCW. I mean, first you have, I mean, you know, it started with Russo and his Crash TV nonsense booking. The fans want entertainment here, and everything with his stupid ass fucking object on a pole match and all that shit. And these, and then they bring in Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, who also helped in the demise of WCW. And now they bring in, you know, and then Garrett Bischoff, of course, becomes the star of the show because he's Sleazy E's son. And now Hulk Hogan's daughter, the Brookster, as I'm calling her, is going to be coming in and running the Knockouts division on the shows. Stupid Dixie. Dixie, wake up! You're a clueless dude. You never saw WCW. You don't have a goddamn clue what Hogan and Bischoff did to it. Just wake up, you fucking mark. You know, and the other news is, of course, that in 2 weeks on Spike TV, the 31st of May, TNA will be moving to 8 o'clock. So they'll be on at 8, and, of course, as you also know, they're going to try the live experiment. So they have I believe starting on the 31st, they'll be going live for the whole summer, and they'll see how it goes. If it works, then they'll do the live thing permanently. If it bombs, they'll go back to being taped like they are now. Okay, so now with that 2.5-minute rant out of the way, let's get into Impact. This actually was a good show overall. I thought, you know, they had some good stuff on there. So I guess, you know, like I say, you know, like I do all the time, you know, we'll just get right to the show. It started out, Bobby Roode came out to the ring, and, you know, he bragged about beating RVD at Sacrifice in RVD's, yeah, in a ladder match, which is RVD's kind of match. You know, he's saying he beat RVD at his own game pretty much, and he puts over RVD, saying that Van Dam gave him one of the most grueling matches he's had, but he still managed to come out with the belt, and he proved all the fans and everyone wrong again. And then he says that, you know, next week he'll officially be the longest reigning TNA World Champion in history. So he's going to host a party, and he calls it the It Factor's Celebration of Domination. Then, he tells Hulk Hogan to come out, and then Hulk Hogan, NWO theme music, pyro and all, comes to the ring. And then Roode takes out a list of demands for his party that he wants, and this was actually pretty funny. You know, it's like he said, you know, it's like, you know, he wanted his dressing room redecorated, 5 chilled bottles of champagne, he wanted green M&Ms, and this one was funny. He said he wanted golden confetti flowing down from the ceiling, but he wanted the golden confetti to be flown in from Canada. That was funny. Yeah, so then Hogan takes the list, and he says Bobby Roode hasn't broken any record yet, or whatever. And he said some kind of stupid line that said before Roode became champ, everyone was stabbing each other in the back to become champion. But then Roode ended that when he won the belt. Now everyone's coming after him. I didn't get that at all. That was freaking ridiculous. But so then he rips up he tears up Roode's demand list or what have you, and then he says, next week is open fight night, brother, and you're going to defend your world title. And it was no, wait a minute, I'm not defending this, and blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, well, what time should I defend it? It should be defended next week, brother. I don't care as long as it's not this one. And then Hogan's like, well, we got this belt, we got, and then he mentions all the other champions. We got the tag title, they were already, that was the last one. We got the X title, this one, that one. Then he tells about it, you're going to defend the title next week, brother. So, and then the whole locker room, all the male wrestlers and ODB came out on the stage, and Hogan says, it's like, hey, just, everyone else shot at the title, brother. So I'm going to set up so he sets up a series of matches, for the show. The winners will all advance to a 4-way match for next week, and then the winner of the 4-way will challenge Bobby Roode for the TNA title. So, the matches, he makes Rob Van Dam versus Bubba Ray Dudley, Billy Ray. And then he says, then he makes Ken Anderson versus Jeff Hardy, so that they can, since they had a controversial ending to their match at Sacrifice, he's going to give them another shot to face each other or whatever. And then, Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe, and, doing their rivalry from when Kurt Angle first came into the company in 2006, and then he said the rest of the talent will be in a battle royal. Now, mixed bag opening segment. I thought, I thought Rude coming out was good. Rude's promo was good as always. He's really good. He's the guy's really great as a heel, and he's been a great, he's been a great heel world champion and everything, Hogan was typical Hogan, and, like I said before about the whole thing with Dixie, it's just like, Hogan's all about Hogan, he doesn't give a fuck about TNA, I'm sorry, it's like, he never puts TNA over when he's ever on these media interviews, and, but, okay, so, anyway, enough about Hogan right now. Back to the show, so they go to Bubba Ray and RVD, good match, it was a solid match, Bubba Ray got the win with the Bubba Cutter, or the one-man 3D as Mike Tenay and Taz called it. It was a good match. RVD had his left knee and left elbow taped up to sell the injuries from the match he had at Sacrifice against Bobby Roode. So at one point he was going for the Van Daminator, and I think his leg gave out, and then Ray gave him the Bubba Cutter and got the 3 count. So a solid match. I thought RVD did a good job selling the injuries from the Sacrifice match. And then we get Ray backstage, Billy Ray. He's saying he's pissed at the Kardashians, who, by the way, I can't stand, for jumping on the anti-bullying bandwagon. And then of course, Joseph Park comes in and he apologizes for getting involved in Ray's match with Austin Aries on Sunday at Sacrifice. But he said that he was going to cheat, so he had to come in. Then he said that talks about how this mentioned that he should stay away from the fire, and he says Ray, you're that flyer. And then Ray tells him to stay away from him. It's a decent segment. The Joseph Park thing is actually starting to, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's actually better. It's actually starting to grow on there a little bit. And of course, Bubba Ray makes it great because he's just a fantastic heel. Then they show, good God, I don't even know why the hell they signed this dude. Last week with, on MMA Uncensored, which follows TNA on Thursday nights, they had Dixie Carter on with this UFC fighter, King Mo, whoever the fucking hell he is, and they just talk about him signing with TNA and how he's going to be wrestling for TNA and fighting at the same time. And they even said something stupid like, it's like, how do how do the people in the legit sport world feel about you going into this fake stuff? It's like, they didn't come right out and say it that way, but it was just like, they had that in there, and it just looked so idiotic. So whatever, like I said, I wasn't into this. I never even heard of this guy before last week, so it's like, I don't even care about him, it's just, it's like, why in God's name are we getting stuck with this? So then we got Madison Rayne and Gail Kim backstage. Gail Kim's bitching about having to defend the title against Velvet and Brooke Tessmacher. And Madison is, is getting all saying, oh, I'm good at this thing. She's gonna fix her hair and wish Gail good luck, because she's got a thingy for someone, for one of the guys in TNA, and Mike Johnson from PW Insider. By the way, check that site out. Is predicting it's going to be Garrett Bischoff. Good God. So, yeah. So anyway, then after Madison walks out or whatever, Gail Kim says she's going to talk to Hulk Hogan. Then Brooke and Velvet show up. They talk about how Gail Kim cheated to win a sacrifice to beat Brooke, and how she cheated to beat Velvet too, or whatever. And then Velvet says that one of them will beat her for the Knockouts title. Not a good segment. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. That's just me. So then we go to the battle royal to see who will advance to the four-way. So we had, AJ Styles won at the end. He tossed out Gunner. The final four guys were AJ, Gunner, Austin Aries, and what do you know, Garrett Bischoff. So it was okay. It was good for battle royal. You had the two Robbies in there, Devon. Eric Young and ODB were in there. They double clothesline Crimson out, and they eliminated him and themselves too, like right away. Then Robbie E threw out Robbie T from behind, when he from behind, and then Robbie T was bitching and was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Throw me out!" And then while they were jaw jacking, Devon chucked Robbie E out, and then eventually it came down to Garrett, Austin Aries, Gunner, and AJ. AJ Styles won, and during this, they showed Madison Rayne on the stage watching with these goo eyes. So, like I said, whoever she's got a crush on is in the battle royal. And if it's Garrett Bischoff, I wouldn't be a damn bit surprised. So then we get the so then we go to commercial. We go back to commercial. They recap the whole storyline with AJ and Daniels, and the AJ Daniels Kazarian thing about the photos they had of AJ with Dixie, and so then back to the live show, the ongoing stuff. AJ just says that he'll beat Bobby Roode for the title, and then he goes to talk about the photos, and he says that AJ says that he and Dixie have been business partners for 10 years. I thought he worked in TNA. I thought she ran the place, but it's like WCW and that's running the fucking asylum there. So then Daniels and Kazarian come out. Or actually, before that happens, AJ Styles says that things aren't always as they seem. So then Kazarian and Daniels come out. Daniels says, last week they saw photographic proof of how he got to the top of where he is today in TNA. Because he and Dixie, and that's then Kazarian says, it's like it hasn't been, it's like this hasn't been about humiliating AJ Styles. It's been about exposing the truth, a truth that AJ has benefited from for the past 10 years since the company opened, or whatever. For the past 10 years, pretty much. So then, then Kazarian asks, what's the deal with the pictures? And Daniel's like, just tell us, or whatever. So then he says, then he says that they have a video. Kazarian takes an iPad out of his pocket or whatever, and Daniel said maybe we misunderstood one of the pics or whatever. That was why they invented videos. So then Kazarian takes the iPad out, and it shows a film of AJ and Dixie walking into a hotel room together or whatever. And Daniels, he was like saying, doing more of his usual, ragging on AJ bit, and then AJ gets all pissed and slaps the mic out of his hand or whatever. And Daniel said, oh yeah, he struck a nerve and saying to AJ that the truth hurts, and then AJ walks to the back all pissed. I don't know. This whole segment is really stupid. It's just like I don't know what they're gonna do with AJ, like AJ and Dixie Carter. I don't know what they're doing here. I mean, if they're gonna, what I would like to see them do is, it's like since Kurt Angle helped him out when Daniels and Kazarian attacked him after their match at Sacrifice on Sunday. Kurt Angle and AJ against Daniels and Kazarian would be a great match. I'd love to see that. So then we have Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe backstage. Samoa Joe is saying it's a shame that he's got to go through Kurt Angle to get his title back. And Kurt Angle is saying, hey, remember when I first came in? Remember the headbutt? And I think that it's all about who makes the first move. Then he smacks Joe in the face. Then they brawl. Then they start to go at it for a bit. They brawl, and then the other wrestlers come in and break it up. Good intense backstage segment with these two. It's like their rivalry from like 2006 and 2008 was really good. But I mean Samoa Joe unfortunately got in the way. He's not in the main event level now. So then we have a backstage promo with Ken Anderson talking about how his match with Jeff Hardy at Sacrifice had a controversial finish to it. He was saying it's like he thought his shoulders were down, because what happened was he rolled up. Ken Anderson rolled up. For those who didn't see the pay-per-view, Anderson rolled up Jeff Hardy, got the 3 count, but it looked like Jeff might have kicked out at 2. So they were saying the finish was controversial. And he said, Anderson said he thought that he had the pin, and he thought, looking at it again, he thought Hardy kicked out. I forget what he thought what he said he thought first, but whatever. So then he says he'll give Hardy another shot tonight, and he'll beat him again. And then he says he'll take his world title back. It was a decent promo, I mean, not really too much. I mean, Ken Anderson was kind of a one-trick pony with the asshole gimmick. I mean, fortunately, that guy, he didn't say it. So he didn't say it in this one. So, they ended up being that we're coming up on 10 years of TNA. They showed they've been showing clips of highlights of the best top 10 TNA moments. And they showed a clip from the September 2005 Unbreakable pay-per-view. They showed highlights of the classic X Division match, which was X Division champion Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles. Of course, AJ Styles won that match, countering the Angel's Wings and getting the pin on Daniels. That is, in my eyes, one of the greatest matches in TNA history ever. That definitely ranks up there. It's in my, as Booker says, Fave 5 TNA matches. Now, can you beat that sucker? So then we get to Jeff Hardy and Ken Anderson in the Final 4-way qualifier. Good back and forth match. I thought they had a good. I think they did a really good exchange of pinfall reversals and that. And then eventually, Anderson went for. He had Jeff up on his shoulders, and he gave him the roll down. He rolled through, and then Jeff Hardy managed to counter that into a schoolboy or crucifix, and he got the 3 count. A really good match, and then afterwards they hug each other and they all, they're buddy again for now, So I mean, this is the Hardy Anderson storyline. They team up, they become, and then they start having tension again. So we'll see when the tension with the 2 of them starts. Okay, then we get Brooke, we get the 3-way knockouts title. Brooke, Velvet, and Gail Kim. I thought it was a good match. I thought all the women worked hard. They did some good pinfall reversals and everything. It was good stuff. Gail got the pin on Brooke for the win. Velvet gave Brooke her the in-your-face finisher, and then Gail came in, chucked Velvet out of the ring, and Gail took advantage and pinned Brooke and got the win. Good match. I thought they worked hard. So anyway, so my bad about the final qualifier. This was the final qualifier for the 4-way. Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here. My brain is spinning around a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. The Angle gets the pin on Samoa Joe. I think he was on the top rope. He jumped off. Joe ducked down. And Angle went for a sunset flip and got the win. Good match. It was a really good. Again, another good match. I thought they did a really good job here. Bobby Roode was out. He came out during the match and was on commentary with TNA and Taz. But Joe Angle was a really good. It was a really good match. So then afterwards, Roode goes on the stage. He and Angle stares down from the ring. They taunt each other, and then Jeff Hardy shows up in the crowd, and then Bully Ray shows up, comes out from behind the stage. Comes out on the stage, standing behind Roode, and then AJ Styles does too. So your four guys who are going to be possibly challenging for the title: AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, and Bully Ray. We're all staring down Roode to end the show. And that ended the show. I actually like the ending of it. Like of the four possible challengers, coming out and just staring down Roode and having face-offs with him. It was a good ending. It was a good way to end the show. So 4-way next week. I guess we'll see what happens there. So it's going to be Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles. So it was good. And like I said, it was a good show. Like I said, the opening segment was good. Well, Roode's promo, it was good as usual. I wasn't really that into Hogan's part of it because I'm tired of Hogan. The end was good. The Angle Joe match was good stuff, and I liked the the guys who advanced to the 4-way All-Star and got rooted at the end of the show. And like I said, the whole AJ Dixie thing, not really big in that. Knockouts match and the Anderson Hardy match, good stuff too. Bully Ray RVD was good. I like how they had damn Selly injuries and stuff. And the Joe Angle backstage brawl was good too. So I guess that'll pretty much do it now. Like I say, it was a good show last night, which thank God it was, since we got some wacky news about TNA. In the next what's going to be happening with TNA going forward. But like I say again, Dixie, wake up! It's just like you bring in the wrong people to learn from. Of all the people you could bring in, you have Russo, then you bring in Hogan, you bring in Bischoff. Bischoff's son gets a spot. Now Hogan's daughter's getting a spot. I hope to God we don't see Hogan's wife coming next. And I mean his current one. I don't want to see his ex-wife in there either. But anyway, so Dixie, you could have learned stuff from Paul Heyman. He's a way better booker. And like I said, Hogan is just all about Hogan. He's completely out of touch. And Eric Bischoff is just a weaselly little son of a bitch who is extremely detested in the business. And I don't know how the hell Dixie can't see that. So let's see. You've heard of the show 1,000 Ways to Die. Well, I think TNA bringing in Brooke is the 1,001st. I've heard of, and I'm sure you've all heard about Raw, but that's another rant for another video. That is the 1,002nd Way to Die, with 3 hours of that. So anyway, that'll do it for me. That'll do it for me now. Hopefully I'll be back over the weekend with the post SmackDown video, and maybe I'll go into a rant about. Maybe I'll do a ranting video about 3 hours of Raw. How that's just too much to do every freaking week. If I don't go on a rant about it, I just mentioned it a bit here. So that'll do it. This is so that'll do it for me right now. This is the Tony Viz. Again, thanks a lot for checking my videos out. Feel free to leave a comment on my YouTube channel. Comment as you see fit. You can add me as a contact on YouTube. Check out my blog, tonyviz.blogspot.com. I recap the shows on there, and that'll do it. So till next time, hopefully with a SmackDown video recap. This is the Tony Viz signing off. Take care, folks. Super fan.